This is for you Aussie electric car buyers. Volkswagen has confirmed its electric car strategy in Australia. Yes, it does actually have a strategy, even though it might appear that they don't have any strategy at all. Here is what their strategy actually is. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you here. Since I started this channel 11 months ago, we've created 1,350 something videos. Make sure you check some of those out. Big thank you for subscribing to the channel. Great to have you here. Now, thank you also to all of you who have subscribed to my boys' YouTube channel. I've just made a video, shows me and my boys out having some fun. I jumped off a pier, got pretty cold, and took my boys for some racing. Oh, actually not some racing, sorry, some training. Anyhow, getting to the video. Volkswagen, what are they doing here in Australia? Well, they're saying the ID4 and the ID5 are coming, and they're going to attempt to actually take sales from Tesla's Model Y, BYD Atto, Kia EV6, and the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, of course, the majority of these products are future theoretical products. I mean, you know, obviously the Model Y does exist, the Atto 3 does exist, EV6 does exist, and the Ioniq 5 does exist, but you can't buy any of them right now. You can pre-order. The only one of these cars you can actually really order right now is the BYD Atto 3. By the way, I'll put a link in the description to the page where you can order one of those. I've pre-ordered one of those. If you want to order one, well, you don't have much choice. That's about all you can do if you want to get an electric SUV right now for a reasonable price anyway. However, Volkswagen's long-awaited entry to the electric vehicle scene here in Australia is planned to kick off in 2023. So, what's that? Only 7 months away. Now, interestingly, Volkswagen's saying it's aiming for an SUV first strategy. Personally, I don't know if you'd call the ID4 or the ID5 SUVs. To me, that's a bit of a stretch. I'd call them a crossover vehicle, more like a wagon than an SUV if you ask me. But anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? It's just the terminology. Now, talking at the launch of the Tiguan and the Golf R, both cars that bore me to death now because internal combustion engine cars are just straight out, flat out boring. I don't know how anyone finds them interesting anymore. Ever since I first got into electric cars, I used to love internal combustion engine cars, and now they just bore me to death. There's nothing interesting about them. Anyway, at the launch of those cars, Volkswagen's Director of Passenger Vehicles, Michael Sasnicki, explained that the brand is still on track to make first deliveries of its ID electric cars in 2023. I'm a bit skeptical on this one, considering how much they're struggling this year with electric vehicle production. I mean, the numbers are down from last year. I don't think they're going to have many cars, honestly. That's what I think. Anyway, here's what he said. Yes, we're doing everything we can to bring ID to Australia in 2023, he said. Due to market conditions, we're starting with ID4 and ID5. The ID3 will join later. Volkswagen is struggling with the ID3. This is due to the preference of customers towards SUVs in Australia, as you can see with the pre-orders for the R range, which are heavily weighted in favour of the Tiguan. So Volkswagen Australia has repeatedly held off launching its popular electric cars in Australia, citing limited demand and incentives in Australia and overwhelming demand in Europe consuming available production slots. So it's a complete load of utter horse shit that they're saying there's limited demand in Australia. Tesla's selling every single vehicle they can get here. Same with Hyundai, same with Kia, same with BYD. They're all going to do the same thing. Volkswagen knows that's complete horseshit. Australians, don't feel bad. There's plenty of you that want EVs. I know there's thousands of you out there. That's nonsense. They know that. Here's the reality. Volkswagen, like I said, delivered less EVs over the first quarter of this year than they did in the last 3 quarters, right? The last 3 quarters. They're not ramping production. It's not happening. I mean, it's a fallacy that they're ramping production. So not many EVs are going to come. That's the reason we don't have any here. Because while Volkswagen doesn't want to pay Tesla to sell cars, right? They don't want to be paying Tesla for tax credits, which they're doing, which they've had to do. That's the reason they're not here. They're not making enough cars. It's that simple. Now, by the way, they claim they have 400,000 pre-orders in Europe alone. 400,000. So I highly doubt we're going to get more than a couple of hundred EVs here in Australia. Let's be realistic. That's reality. The ID4 is a mid-size SUV, which is pretty similar, but a little bit, tiny bit smaller than a Tesla Model Y. The ID.5 is a coupe-style spin-off. Now, the brand's manager of corporate communications, Paul Pottinger, I should say, has explained to Cars Guide in the past that its EVs will be priced to play in the mainstream, going so far as to say they can launch with prices starting in the $50,000 bracket. It's pretty good. That's 50,000 US dollars, by the way. No, sorry, just joking. 50,000 Australian dollars. If you look at the prices of Volkswagen's EVs in the US, they're priced pretty well. Hopefully they have similar prices here in Australia, if they ever get here. However, that price is for the base version of the ID.4, available overseas, which comes with a very small 45 kilowatt hour battery pack and a 110 kilowatt electric motor. That gives the vehicle apparently 330 kilometers of WLTP certified driving range. I doubt that you're going to get that kind of range out of a battery that size, but you never know. Now, in Germany, the ID.5 is positioned much further up the price scale, and it's only available with the longer range 77 kilowatt hour battery, which gives the vehicle a range of 450 kilometers. So you can see here, right? They're saying the ID.4 with a 45 kilowatt hour battery pack will get a range of 330 kilometers. They're saying the 77 kilowatt hour version will only give you an additional 120 kilometers of range. That's why it seems like they're being conservative with that model, the range on that model, but maybe overestimating the range of the base model. Now, Volkswagen has said it plans on selling the ID.3 in Australia from around $40,000 when it finally comes. But I mean, is that realistic considering it might not come until 2025? Maybe not. But it will be interesting to see what happens, because by the time it arrives, I think it's going to have some pretty tough competition from BYD with the EA1 or the BYD Dolphin. Also, could have some competition from Chery, which I think are going to bring in their EVs to Australia, and also from Aura, which I also think will bring a similar sized EV to Australia as well. In addition, the commercial Volkswagen division is expected to bring in the ID Buzz electric van, which is pretty cool. I like it. So what does this all mean? Well, Volkswagen will be late to the electric vehicle party here in Australia. And I think they're going to be going up against some pretty tough competition, to be fair. By the time they get here, they might have lost that first mover advantage and have to be fighting with the Tesla Model Y, BYD, Hyundai, Kia. Who knows? Maybe Toyota will get their act together and bring an EV here as well. Now, Mr. Pottinger said this: these will be circuit breakers, genuinely affordable EVs. Well, he could be right. You never know. Here's hoping. I hope he's right. You never know what can happen. And the reality is, I do like the brand of Volkswagen. I do see them having a difficult future considering the debt that they currently have and their struggles with manufacturing EVs. Clearly, all you guys who said it was easy, you said legacy automakers could just pump out millions of EVs when they wanted to. You were wrong. It's not easy. It's difficult. That's what Volkswagen is up against right now. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.